thing I always recommend is find an agent who is very in alignment with your vision and your goals and can push you outside of your comfort zone.
When I first started, I remember Monty just telling me, the first 2 years, you just gotta eat shit. Hopefully I'm allowed to say that. What's up, guys? It's your Neighbors Podcast, and the ladies are taking over. Woo!
Let's do this.
I'm Jenna, and today I'm with Annie and Ashley. So let's dive in. Annie, where are you from?
My name's Annie, and I'm a Green Bay girl, so born and raised in Green Bay. And I went to college, and now I'm back.
Awesome. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
And Ashley, where are you from?
I currently reside in Swamico. Grew up in Minneapolis, so here my whole entire adult life. So this is where I call home.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
I'm from an hour north of Green Bay, a very small town, and now we bought our house about early 2020, and now we've been here ever since, and I don't think we're leaving. So, okay, let's dive into some girl questions in real estate. Okay, so Annie, what got you into real estate? What made you decide to start real estate?
Yeah.
Well, actually, okay, Annie, how long have you been in real estate?
okay, so I got my real estate license in October.
Okay.
So I left my job out of college. I was there for about a year, and then I had a month of kind of a gap where I was trying to figure things out. And then this last October, so just a couple months back, I got my license and then started my career.
Awesome. So you started somewhere else, and then what made you decide to come over to Take Action?
I quickly found out that there's a lot to learn in real estate. And I just think that when I got connected to Take Action, I really found the right people to kind of help guide me through the process of just learning the industry and learning what it takes to be a good realtor.
Awesome. Was there anything that when you first started, that you're like, wow, I did not expect this?
Honestly, the patience.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part about getting started with anything is that it takes time. And we live in a culture that is so obsessed with that instant gratification.
Yeah.
And so I knew that it was going to take time, but I guess I didn't really fully understand what it was going to take to actually get to that point. So that's been an adjustment, but also it's really exciting because that delayed gratification is way more satisfying. So it's all part of it.
When I first started, I remember Monty just telling me, like, the first 2 years, you just got to eat shit. Hopefully I'm allowed to say that. Eat shit. So I just kind of had that mindset the past year and a half, and something that, like, I just needed to realize. Because otherwise, I had that instant gratification. Like, I just wanted to get paid right away, but that's not how it is. You got to find your leads. You got to find a house for them. Then you got to wait the 30 days. And sometimes something can happen and fall through. And then finally, you get to the closing table. So, Ashley, what about you?
Yes. Okay, so I was featured on a podcast last week,
and
we talked a little bit about this. We referred to that phenomenon as the microwave society. We live in a microwave society.
Yes.
So we want the instant results, and we'll try something new, not get what we think we're going to get, and then quit and then do it again somewhere else. And you just keep just compounding these things until the point you're just like, all it takes is patience and really just understanding who I am in the market. So anyway, I got into this and I shared a little bit about this. I met Monty. I actually purchased my home from Monty, and it has been I did not, let's be honest, I never thought I was going to get into real estate. I had this perception that all realtors were money grabbers. I believed that anybody in the industry was snaky. I'm not going to lie. And I started to Airbnb out my property when I moved in, being a single mom, and finding creative ways to build that income stream. And it ended up being something that has been able to pay my mortgage and a lot of the home renovations that I've done. And Monty and I's story came full circle, which you can listen to that podcast episode. It was super, super amazing. But ultimately, it led me onto this path of really deciding that if you don't have real estate as something in your back pocket, or even every single person should look into real estate as a part of building their financial portfolio. There's such great benefits in understanding it and what it does, and being a home buyer myself and wanting to get into short-term rentals. If you don't know what you're doing, you can fall into some pretty bad deals. So I really wanted to educate myself and work alongside some incredible women, incredibly talented men, to just learn how to stand out in a very noisy market. So that's why I'm here now.
Yeah. Do you have anything that Take Action has helped for you? Like,
oh my Lord.
I know, they've done a lot.
Where do I even begin? So I would say the biggest thing that has stood out to me most recently is their marketing team. There's Anthony and Rob have been, shout out to these guys. Monty, obviously, Matt, just the dynamic, how they make you feel like your family. I remember walking in here not really understanding or knowing what I was getting myself into, and I know Annie could probably resonate with this. It was just like open arms. You're welcome here. You belong here. There's something to take. You can learn from each other, and just the sense of community that exists here is unlike anything I've ever seen before. So
I've never had a work family like this.
For Rizzle.
Yeah.
That's why I became an entrepreneur.
Exactly. What about you, Annie? What do you think, like, Take Action, like, has anything, like, have they helped you discover anything so far? Even though when did you started here? About a month ago now, right? Yeah.
Yep,
so
probably
that flew
just
by.
about a month.
So has anything, like, since starting, like, wow?
I would say, being aligned in the same vision as me was huge. I think right off the bat, I had this feeling of it being home, which sounds so cheesy, but it's such a rare feeling to find, I feel like, in the workplace especially. And so when I came over, it was this immediate, like Ashley had said, like just arms wide open type of energy. You just felt that. It was so contagious, and everyone was so excited to kind of see what you could bring to the table too. Like everyone was so excited to, brainstorm. And the marketing aspect is huge because it is such an important part of this industry, and it's so overwhelming. For me, it's like the biggest hurdle. Like it's overwhelming. Social media is kind of a crazy world, but it's so necessary. And so for me, I think that's been the biggest thing is the support, the vision, and then the resources too that we have here.
Yeah. I've been with 3 firms now, so this is my 3rd one. And it took me a little bit to finally come over with Take Action. I think I was a little worried because we were helping build this empire, and I just mentally was not ready. I just had my son, and I was just like overwhelmed, and I knew all of the hard work that it was going to take. But then the first time that I came and saw the property and just met everybody, it was like an instant feeling of home. Like I was home. The people here are home. And it's just the people that you surround yourself with plays a huge role in the person you become. So,
well, and I think too, like, sorry to interrupt you, Jenna, but like you don't have to have everything figured out.
No. And I think that was me. Like I felt like I needed to have a set plan for everything. Like by 2025, I'm going to do this. By 2026, I'm going to do this. And like I had all these plans and goals, but I didn't have the support like I do now.
Right. And also like if we knew everything that our life would bring, it wouldn't be fun. You lose some of the enjoyment. And so I feel like, I have also had that similar approach of like having to have everything figured out. And when I came here, it's like I still don't have everything figured out, but you have the right people. And that's huge because if you have that shared vision, it's like your chance for success, I think, is so much greater. And so, I wanted to add that.
I love that. I have nothing to add. Mic drop. Boop.
Bloop. So, Annie, you don't have a house yet, right?
I do not.
Do you have any goals for that?
I definitely want a house. I think right now it's overwhelming. I'm not married. And so I think to take care of a house by myself right now, I'm just not quite in the season. But, absolutely, I have goals. And I think for me to like reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. Shout out to that book. It's an amazing book if you haven't read it. It's what got me into the ideas of like short-term rentals and just real estate, using real estate as a tool for your own investment. Definitely for myself and my family in the future to have investment properties for myself. That's definitely something I'd like to just learn more about. And then, of course, getting myself into a home at some point. I don't know when that will be, but I know it'll happen when the timing is right.
That's right. Ashley, you have a house that
do.
Monty helped you.
Yeah.
What was like the first thing when you got into your house that you wanted to do?
Oh my Lord. Well, I knew I had to do the basement, didn't really want to do it. However, I remember walking into that home and immediately I had looked at dozens of properties at that point. I bought this house in May of 2021. So it was during the COVID frenzy and interest rates were really freaking good.
That's
so,
when we got ours. Yeah.
Yes, like 3.2, like what?
2.7.
So for me, my kids were really young at the time. So I had a daughter who was just a little over 1 year old. And then my twins were, I think, 4 going on 5. And I walked in.
So were you buying this property by yourself too?
So my dad helped me get the property. Okay. And that was something that we talked about in the podcast episode as well. And this is really, it kind of goes full circle with my goal with all of this. And in terms of what real estate means to me, because everybody kind of has their own vision with real estate. Some people want to use it to connect with community members. Some people want to use it as their main source of income. For me, I want to bridge the gap in what people see in real estate in the real world and what it actually does. And it provided me a huge tool, and it's been a huge asset in learning all of these skills and being somebody who was going through a divorce and having a family, a young family, and having to figure all of these things out on my own, managing and taking care of home on my own. I kind of built my story around that, and my goal is really to show people the impossible, that you can do anything, you can achieve anything you want to achieve, that you're going to come up to adversity at all points in your life, and it's really what you make of it. And I can't emphasize this enough, but if you're living your life doing what everybody else wants you to do, you're never going to be happy. That's right. And for me, if I can love who I am and show up as who I am and pour that love into my home. We talk a lot about your environment here, that your environment really shapes the woman or man that you become. And for me, I poured my entire soul into that house, and I am so proud of that home. And it doesn't just provide for my family, but it has provided for over 70 families as well in the Airbnb world. So I have huge goals to kind of expand this, but to also just inspire other people that think they can't do it, to show you can. It's not as difficult as sometimes we perceive it to be. It literally comes down to your mindset and who you surround yourself with. So if you are in a position in your life where you feel that there's something more out there for you, that's because there is. Change up the scene, change up your environment, and watch how your goals come to fruition. Yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah. For me, personally, we bought our house same time, had 2.7 interest rate, and now I don't think we'll ever sell this house. But our goal when we bought this house was to flip it and then live there for a few years, and then I'm trying to talk Russell into making it an investment property. Yeah. So Airbnb it or short-term, long-term rental. So that's our goal with real estate. Do you want to touch on what the process of looking for a property was like?
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, sure. I would love to.
Because I think a lot of first-time homeowners are more overwhelmed by that feeling of going into a house and just making the decision. It's hard to get someone to even go to a showing. They don't realize, let's just go look and, see what's out there. Because once they get into a house, they're going to be ready. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I knew my first home that I had wasn't my forever home. Yeah. I knew that. I had this vision in mind of what my dream home looked like. I lived in a farmhouse on a bunch of land. And look at me, I'm living on a farmhouse with some land. And However, you're very right. You're very right on that. I remember being intimidated by the home buying process, super, super intimidated. I didn't have the income to provide me with the loan that I needed. I had to ask my dad for support, which was very hard for me because I am the oldest child, super duper independent. I was the one that was like the overachiever. So for me to ask for support was very, very difficult. However, to this day, super grateful that I did. And I worked with a real estate agent who was she was just getting started. And
she is amazing. I know her.
She is amazing. And she had told me, let's just get you into homes so you can see what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I don't even know if I can get approved and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, let's just see. And it just motivated me. It was like that driving factor I didn't even know I needed. So one thing I always recommend is find an agent who is very in alignment with your vision and your goals and can push you outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because they really, at the end of the day, you want an agent who's going to bat for you. You want an agent who's going to walk you along the way, somebody who is going to be very upfront, honest, and transparent with you. And that's what all of these agents have here. And had it not been for her, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have even tried.
Yeah.
I would have probably still been at that house not happy.
Yeah.
So,
when we started looking, we went through 2 agents. So the first agent, we went and saw 2 houses, and I fell in love with one. I even wrote a letter saying, like, why we would make this house, like, our home. And we didn't get them. The first 2 are always so hard when you get a no, a rejection, but there's always more. So then she ended up telling us, like, her husband was going into surgery and had to pretty much pass us on to a new agent. But I had somebody else, so we tried her. And then she moved to Texas, and then she passed me on to a new agent. And then I remember, like, going home. We lived with my aunt at the time, and I was like, let's just get an apartment. Like, this sucks. Like, it sucks when you just can't find something. And then Russell went to his weekly basketball whatever game and came home and was like, hey, this guy's aunt selling their house for sale by owner. Let's go check it out. And I was like, we don't have a realtor. Like, what do you mean? And then we went and checked it out, and we figured out how to write our own offer. And then we got our house. And now, like we were talking about earlier, like, I love our house now. Like, I'm so grateful that we didn't get the other one, because now I get to create this house and make it our own. So a lot of people don't realize when you're looking at homes, and you have to go past the paint. You have to go past the trim. You have to go past the like, you have to go past all the cosmetic. You have to go past all the cosmetic and see what's behind what you can do to it. So.
Yeah, that is probably the best advice. I agree with that. You have to look past it. The bones are good. Like, you can make anything into anything that you want.
And all the new construction buildings, like, I just went to a couple this week, exactly the same.
Yes.
Exactly the same.
Cardboard cupboards.
Yes.
Just crumbling.
Yes. Yeah. It's all exactly the same. So, yeah. Annie, anything you want to add in about when you start your home searching process?
Or things that you've been, like, intimidated by, maybe.
What do you think, like, what do you think the home buying process is like? And we'll tell you if it's true.
I think probably super overwhelming.
It is.
There's a lot.
No, it's not.
There's a lot going on. I think the market's also a huge part of that as well. Like, we've had just a weird couple of years from pretty much every single angle. And so I think people are just on edge, about what the future holds. And so
people have been waiting to buy for the interest rates to go down, and, like, the past 2 years, but nothing's changing right now. Like, I don't think the interest rates are going to go under 5. I think it's just this is it.
So I think it's just an interesting time. Obviously, things are more expensive now. So there's that hurdle maybe to get over that the last couple years we haven't necessarily had to the extent that we do now. I think that, people my age aren't necessarily looking to buy. It's really interesting. Like, when I talk to my friends, nobody's really in that season of life.
So, like, I feel like our generation, no offense, actually,
What? How old do you think I am?
I forgot. We're okay.
We're like pretty much all the same.
Is it the
You're so much
glasses?
more mature.
We got Matthew
I feel
McConaughey
like
in our presence.
everybody-
People.
Yeah. I feel like everybody our age
Yes.
want
Yeah,
to
Ashley
own.
too. We do, but then this is the
Like
gap.
they want to own
This
everything
is, I
they
think,
have.
going back full circle moment to that instant gratification. Like it takes time
Yeah.
to prepare, and yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing I can think of for myself. Like, just I'm personally just not there.
Yeah.
That's just where I'm at in the
Yeah.
season of life. I think that education and getting people just more acclimated to the process just in general is super empowering.
You get to be on that journey with them.
Right. So that is going to be something that we hope to do at Take Action to really begin to have that conversation with people who do feel like it's this burdensome thing and this super overwhelming process. It doesn't have to be. So if that has been your, experience, just know that
We're all going through it. We all went through it.
we all went through it, and it's also like
It's a
just because
fun
you had,
process.
Yes, it should be a fun process, and hopefully we can provide that for you if you ever do work for us.
Yeah. Obviously, we have some amazing lady agents here.
If there's certain topics that you'd like to go deeper, do
Yeah.
a deeper dive into,
Because we all have different stories. We're all different
Yeah.
areas of our life. I mean, she has 3 kids,
Yeah,
has a
they're
whole
wild.
business.
Yeah, multi-passionate.
Yes,
To the
she
core,
has
yes.
very many hats.
Very many hats.
It's very many
Speak
hats.
Spanish. Yes, also that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I personally have a son.
Influencer, amazing human being, amazing friend, amazing
God.
agent, incredible person to be
Thanks.
around. Yeah.
And Annie is starting her journey as a
Mm-hmm.
real estate agent and is just a beautiful soul.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys.
Yes.
I would
So-
say the only thing I want to add into all of this is that encourage the ladies takeover, because one of the things that we have is the patience, is the understanding, is the knowing. If whether you're a mom or you want to be a mom, or maybe you're young and you don't really know, but this is a door, a window, what do you say? A door that you want to walk into and learn about. We're here to support you. And one of the goals with all of this too is to not just give you the mindset, but also the confidence and to empower you to make these solid decisions on your own.
It's never too late. It's
Or
never
too
late.
early.
Or too early. I love that. Yeah. Like today is the perfect day to make a change. If you, like you said, if you feel stuck or, aren't in a place that you necessarily want to be, that's okay. Like what an opportunity. But you're probably going to need some patience along the way, and that's okay.
Yeah. We'll help you.
Yeah, we got
So,
you.
We got you.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
That's all we got. The ladies from Take Action.
Woo!